Warning: the following video contains explicit language, which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Are you ready? Hey everybody, it's Jeff. Well, I hope everybody's had a good weekend. It's been nice here. Last couple of days, we've had a pretty decent few days, and it's been it wasn't that hot Saturday and Sunday. Now the temperature's beginning to go up, and the rest of the week I think it's probably going to hit up into the 90s here, so it's going to be very hot coming up, and and the worst thing, you know, is when it's hot like this, is when things don't go right, which I call my bad luck days, and I think everybody has them, where it's like, you know, it's one of those days where you never should have got out of bed because everything that can go wrong goes wrong. Well, that's today for me. I'm not going to get into what's going wrong, but let's just say it wasn't just one thing, okay? And I don't want to spend all the time here discussing that, because that's not what this show is about. But I just want to say that I wish that, you know, in all the junk that I got in this apartment, that I had room for just one more item, and that's a punching bag. Because I'll tell you right now, as hard as I hit, I could really use a punching bag, because I don't want to punch anything in place here or anyone, because I know I could do considerable damage, you know, with my fists. I mean, you know, there's been times where I would just, you know, in the past, where I'd beat my fist bloody, hitting walls and stuff like that, you know, and it just, I like to swing at things, okay? I try not to do that anymore. And I've been pretty good at not doing that, but I really wish sometimes that I had a punching bag, because I could really use that on these bad luck days, where I could just take and beat my anger out on it. A pillow just doesn't do it, folks. Okay, I don't know. There's no satisfaction with hitting a pillow. I'd like to hit something more solid than that, okay? I want to feel what I'm hitting, you know, is solid. It just forces me to hit harder, you know, swing harder, you know, and and that's what I wish I had. You know, it's not that I'm a boxer or want to be a boxer, but it's just that there's got to be an outlet for rage like that. And when I get mad enough where I feel like hitting something, you know, people shouldn't be around me, okay? So today is one of those days, and I've had to cool off here a bit in the last 2-3 hours, just so I could do this video. But anyway, getting to the video, getting to my video here, there is this story going around here concerning country singer Jason Aldean and his song "Try That in a Small Town." And it's not really so much the song as it is the video that goes along with it, okay? Now, hold on a second. So he made a video with a song that seemed to get some hits from people, I guess, who like country music. I don't even like country music, to be honest with you, okay? I don't even listen to it. The only kind of country I like to listen to is the old kind, you know, Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, you know, people like that. Today's country really isn't country music at all. I look at it as rock and roll, basically. So I don't really connect to it. But this, I found this item here about Jason Aldean going through my news of the day and stuff, and it seemed to be something that's, you know, going viral right now. Unless you're you know, if you're not into this, you probably wouldn't even have noticed it, but there's an article here that'll talk about it here better. It's from NBC News, and the story is by Doha Medini. And it's entitled "TikToker Who Debunked Jason Aldean's Try That in a Small Town Video Receives Racist Hate Mail." A graphic designer and activist who made TikTok content debunking the claim by Jason Aldean that his controversial music video uses only real news footage has been facing a wave of racist and violent hate mail by defenders of his song. Destiny Stark is among the first who publicly criticized Aldean's "Try That in a Small Town" for the song lyrics and for featuring a Tennessee courthouse where a black teenager was lynched in 1927. A former fan of the country star, Stark first heard the song about 2 weeks ago and then saw the music video. The more she thought about the words and images, the angrier she became. Stark told NBC News on Monday, quote, "I get online all the time and I share my opinions online all the time. It's something that I do," unquote, Stark said. Quote, "In that first video that I made, I posted it at like 11:30 at night. I didn't think it would go anywhere, and I woke up to like thousands of messages about it," unquote. Last week, County Music Television, which initially aired the video, pulled it from rotation. But after Aldean defended the music video by stating that, quote, "There isn't a single video clip that isn't real news footage," unquote, Stark said it was easy to prove him wrong. In a TikTok video that's gotten at least 1.5 million views, Stark found that 2 of the clips in the video came from stock footage. One showed a woman flipping off police at a Labor Day event in Germany, and another was a commercial stock clip of a Molotov cocktail. Quote, "I just think that people have a right to know things like this. They inform politics, and it informs how we vote, how we see the world, and who we interact with," said Stark. Quote, "And I just think that if we're consuming content that's not even accurate, it's just propaganda, and it's just fueling people, you know, to commit more violence," unquote. NBC News also found stock clips of a protest in Montreal, Canada, and a protest in Kiev, Ukraine. The Montreal clip does not have a date, nor does it have context for the cause behind protests. The Ukrainian clip appears to be from a 2013 protest in downtown Kyiv, which was in opposition to the former president's refusal to sign an agreement that would have aligned the country with the European Union. A representative for Aldean did not immediately respond to a request for comment from on Monday. Stark shared screenshots with NBC News of hateful messages she received since posting her videos about Aldean's song, which included racist slurs, fat-phobic remarks, and death threats. Stark said she has tagged Aldean on social media, asking him to denounce the hate mail and discourage defenders from engaging in violent racist rhetoric. In one message, someone referred to her with 2 different slurs and threatened to hang Stark in their backyard so people could gather around. She described that particular message as the quote-unquote worst of the messages she's gotten so far. Quote, "They're trying to defend and say that the song isn't racist while using racist rhetoric to tear me down, which literally defeats the purpose of their entire argument," unquote, Stark said. Stark encouraged those people to look inward and really think about why they were so incensed by her videos, because others have sent kinder messages about how her content has made them more aware. Quote, "Even people that were fans of Jason Aldean reached out and we're like, quote, you know, I would have been vibing with this song until you pointed all this out, unquote, Stark said. Quote, so even though it seems like the trolls and the hate is so much louder, it really is changing things, and it's really changing people's perspectives, unquote, she added. Quote, and I think that that's really important part to focus on too, unquote. So yeah, I mean, if you're on TikTok, I guess, and I'm not, but if you're on TikTok, you just look up Destiny Stark, and she spells Destiny D-E-S-T-I-N-E-E, and her last name Stark, like Tony Stark from Iron Man, okay? And she has a video where she shows in detail how she was able to figure out that the video, the parts of the video were not filmed in his hometown that he's singing about, okay? That he grabbed whoever makes the video to his song, because obviously it was shown he didn't write the song, okay? It was a bunch of other people that wrote the song for him. He sung it. The video obviously was probably made, you know, by other people too. I don't know. But the thing is he's singing about his town, where he comes from, okay? And in that song, he puts in images that he says are from his town, like these riots and stuff like that. And as it turned out, the people that put the video together left certain clues to where these clips were coming from, because they're things where, you know, there's like a French or a German word on some woman's bag or something, and that got someone's curiosity, and then they started digging into the internet, and they found out that shot was taken from Germany at a certain, you know what I'm saying? So this is how you tear apart a video. When you watch it closely, you'll see like little tags here and there, you know, like what you call Easter eggs, that give away where you're at with the video, okay? You know what I'm saying? So that you know that the scenes are showing you are not all from his town. It's not even in the United States for the most part. But they just threw it in there to really explode, you know, his reality of what he's singing about, okay? It's just, I don't know why he felt he needed to do that in this video. I don't get it, what he's aiming at here. But, I mean, in his song, I mean, is he trying to defend his town from, you know, what they were doing? I mean, I'm not sure. Nobody really is sure what the hell, after looking at this video, what he was really trying to make a point of in this song, okay? I can only think back to that, you know, back in the 80s, where somebody else had done a song video that was embraced at first, until somebody actually sat down and listened to the lyrics of the song. It was Bette Midler's song, you know, From a Distance. People at first, I mean, and I saw this in my own eye, religious people across the world loved that song, okay, when it first came out. After a while, people started to say, wait a minute, what the hell is she really singing about here? This isn't like really a pro-God kind of song. I mean, she's sitting here talking about how God's seeing things through rose-colored lenses and not really seeing the reality of what's happening here on earth. So where, you know what I'm saying? That was really what the song was saying. But people thought because she used the word God in it, and, you know, and all these, you know, wonderful terms, that, you know, she's being religious. It was a religious. No, it wasn't. Okay, if you listen to the lyrics, it's really anti-God, is because she's really singing what sounds like a pretty song, but it's really like, you know, a passive-aggressive song about how God isn't really with us, because he's looking at the earth so far away that he's not seeing what the shit that's happening down here, because we're killing each other, and he's up there thinking, oh, they're such nice people. Okay, that's basically what she's singing about. Okay, and so here we have another song by this guy who was singing about his town, and people embraced it. But again, it's another situation where people embraced a song without really looking at the messaging in that song, with the video not matching with the song itself. Okay, so his video is showing some falsities there, and you know this lady, you know, and it's very hard to get away with trying to push people over on the internet, okay? Because people can, with just very little equipment with you. I mean, you can really take apart something and find out if it's real or not. Okay, you don't really have to dig too deep. And she just took some screenshots of the video just so she could, you know, compare to what she was looking for. It took her a little while, but not that long. I think she did it mostly in a couple of days, and she was able to rip that video all apart and say, look, they're adding shit that didn't even happen in the United States, and they're putting it in here and saying this happened in this town. You know? And so the people, apparently the people that are racist obviously got the message. You see what I'm saying? Because it seems to me like only the racists are the ones coming after her. But the ones that actually took the time to look at what she did and say, oh, now I see it. Now I see what's going on here. Okay, now they understand now why she got got suspicious of it, because there were a lot of false things put in there that had nothing to do with this town. Okay, and so but the racists out there wanted that, you know, didn't want anyone to see that, because to them that was, oh, it's our song, we love that song, you know. And so they went after her because she's black, right? I mean, she's a black girl and she's on there, and so naturally they think this is some kind of a hit job by some black woman to try to discredit this. No, because anyone with an open mind looked at the video and saw how she put it together, and it was completely logical, step by step. She didn't leave anything out. Okay, nothing left out. You can't stop young people today from going using the internet and seeking out the truth about things. Okay, it's not going to happen. So you guys out there that are racist, forget about it. Okay, these young people today, they're not gonna be so hoodwinked by the shit you say, because all they got to do is look it up. So what are you going to do next? You're going to ban the internet altogether? I mean, I'd love to see how that's going to work. Okay. But the thing is, it's like this has been like the talk of the day. About this song, about this singer here, and now people are wanting to know what he meant by this video and this song. What was he really talking about? Because now it's all in question now. Okay, and now his publicists or whoever, they're not answering any calls from reporters, because maybe they're trying to figure out a bullshit story they can put together, you know, that's going to save his career, you know. You know, it's sad, you know, that, you know, people today, you know, that are so openly racist, you know, basically, you know, they can email her and send her all kinds of threatening things. What's sad about it is that there's very little law enforcement can really do about it unless these people are computer wizards and they're able to track back to the source where these things come from. You know what I'm saying? They got to be geeks, cops today. If they're going to be doing computer crimes, they have to be geeks. So you have to put your faith in, you know, the people that walk around with a slide rule and wear glasses and stuff, that they can help protect citizens' freedom of speech online. And she wasn't saying anything derogatory or made any, you know, insults or anything like that. She simply just put out there what she found in that video and how it's puzzling to her that he's singing about something that didn't really happen in his town, and he's talking about, you know, a small town, his small town that he grew up in, you know. But he puts it together for a reason, and that's what we want to know. Why did you put that? Why did you make that video, that song? You know, what were you trying to say in that? Because now everybody wants to know. So I don't know. That's just I thought that was kind of interesting, because it's another one of those incidents where somebody, maybe not knowing, crossed the line a little bit, maybe, and said things they did, or did things they shouldn't have done in a video or in the song. You know, I don't know. I will find out, I guess, at some point, maybe, when they decide to answer questions. And in addition to the article that I read you, there's another one here. It was published an hour ago from Wonderwall. The story is by Mark Gray. It's entitled Controversial Country Music Singer Wants the Country Restored to What It Once Was as More Stars React to CMT Pulling His Anti-BLM Music Video from Rotation. Quote, in the past 24 hours I have been accused of releasing a pro-lynching song a song that has been out since May, and was subject to the comparison that I was not too pleasant with the nationwide BLM protests. These references are not only meritless but dangerous. There is not a single lyric in the song that references race or points to it. And there isn't a single video clip that isn't real news footage. And while I can try and respect others to have their own interpretation of a song with music, this one goes too far. Quote, as so many pointed out, I was present at Route 91 where so many lost their lives, and our community recently suffered another heartbreaking tragedy. No one, including me, wants to continue to see senseless headlines or families ripped apart. Try that in a small town for me refers to the feeling of a community that I had growing up, where we took care of our neighbors regardless of differences of background or belief because they were our neighbors, and that was above any differences. My political views have never been something I've hidden from, and I know that a lot of us in this country don't agree on how we get back to a sense of normalcy where we go at least a day without a headline that keeps us up at night. But the desire for it to that's what the song is about. And that's from a statement by Jason Aldean. Okay? So, released an hour ago, and I guess, I don't know if he actually said this in front of a camera or if this was read to the press. I don't know. But it's still, you know, it still kind of doesn't answer the confusion between his song, the lyrics in his song, and the videos that was put into it. Now, I think people want to know whether or not he actually had a working hand with the song, which, you know, if you look at the credits, his name isn't even listed as the writer of the song. So maybe he had no idea of what he was really singing about. I don't know. And the video, I don't know if he was there when they put that together, because you know, they tried to mishmash protests from around the world into this video to make it look like, you know, this is what happens in a small town like I grew up in, you know, and, you know, it was just, people looked at it as gaslighting, you know, making hatred. The thing that he says he doesn't like to see on the nightly news seems to be like the only, what's sparking all this content right now, all this talk online, is this thing that he doesn't want to see happen anymore. He wants to go back to the way things were, you know. That would mean we'd have to go back to the days of pre-internet, because folks, I don't know about, you know, where you are, but, you know, in 30-something years of having the internet, that's all that the internet provides our society with, is things to talk about, okay? That's what it does. And, you know, wishing that people wouldn't talk about stuff hasn't done this country any good. Because if it did, we wouldn't be so focused in this fucking gutter that we're in about racism and stuff like that. And it's because it's kept itself hidden from our ears, not hearing it, because there was no internet in order to reach out to people across the country, across the world, as to what people think about diversity, okay? And now that it's there, we're seeing things that we didn't think was there, but it is there. It's always been there, and it doesn't, you know, people don't like it. It's unsettling, okay? But people have to remember, this isn't something that just sprung up out of the fucking Jack in the Box, okay? We're talking about decades and decades and decades of seething hatred that's been underneath America for all this time. Long after, you know, long before the Civil War, it was always there. It never died. It just went into the closets where, you know, where people couldn't see or hear it, all right? Where law enforcement was around to, you know, kind of regulate it or enforce against it, you know what I'm saying? But we didn't really hear about it from town to town to town. Not until the internet came out and people started posting things that were happening in their town. Then it all of a sudden became aware to us that we have a fucking problem here. You know, and now they're saying, oh, it's only now that these things are happening. No, you got it all backwards. The before time of the internet was just as bad as the now time, okay? We just didn't know about it back then, but we sure as hell know about it today. We sure as hell know about it today. And the people who like to be racist are also using the internet to put their own views online on websites, you know, which a lot of people in the Republican Party seem to gather around, okay? So we're finding out that there's racism right in our own political structure that's been there for a long time, okay? And, you know, so, you know, for this guy to sit here and say that, oh, I wish we could go back to the days before, well, he wants to go back into the cave that we were in at the time, okay? He wants to crawl back into the closet, okay? That didn't do this country any good, because if it did, you know, we wouldn't still be grappling with this issue today. We should have dealt with it back then, but there was no way to know, you know, who was racist, who was being racist, what racist things were being said, until the internet came around and exposed it all to us. Because people have, for whatever reason, can't control their mouth when they're online. They got to, their true selves come right out of that body of theirs, through their mouth onto the internet, and posted for all the world to see. Okay, so somebody you thought that was really nice and pleasant and good to be around and a good friend to have, go look at their posts online and you're going to see something different, okay? Something different that you never would have thought this person would ever have in their minds, okay? And that's the shocker. That's the thing that people can't understand, is that the internet has given us a window into people's hearts and minds, and we've seen, you know, that a lot of people are more corrupted than we ever thought. But that doesn't mean it's something new. It only means that it's been around and we never saw it, okay? And, you know, that unfortunately, how we deal with this now as a society is really the mystery. Because how do you regulate people's thoughts and opinions or feelings about something? You know, you can't. Not if you want to cross some ethical lines, but you know, how do you get rid of that darkness in our society, racism? How do you do it? I mean, we lived with it and didn't know it was there, and then the internet comes around and says, "Surprise! Guess what? You know, all you people are a bunch of fucking," you know, and then what do you say? You know, so that's really what, you know, what I think is something that people really need to wake up to, is that this, and you know, and I hate to say wake because nobody likes the word woke, but that's honestly what this is all about, is people to get their heads out of the sand, take a look at the world around them into reality, and find out what it is you don't want to see, and see it. Because if you don't see it, you don't know what the hell's going on, and if you don't know what the hell's going on, problems happen and you don't know where they came from and how to correct them. If you want to fix problems, you've got to open your eyes to the sad, hard truths of the world around you, whether you like it or not. Let's go to a commercial break. We'll be right back.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me!
This is me.
I'm Alex Curtis. I'm a lobsterman in Maine, and this is me.
I'm Ruth McLaughlin, and this is me.
I'm Eric Hopkins. I'm an artist, and this is me.
This is me.
Me.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me.
At the end of the journey, the main thing is you, original.
Months ago, Mr. Kennedy, you compared COVID public health policies to barbaric, murderous tactics of Nazi Germany, saying that Jewish people in Nazi Germany had more freedom than Americans facing COVID health restrictions. In hindsight, Mr. Kennedy, do you reject this absurd and deeply hurtful and harmful comparison, or do you still stand by it?
Congressman, what you are saying is a lie. They're going to have the right to compel unwanted medical interventions on us. The Nazis did that in the camps. In World War II, they tested vaccines on gypsies and Jews.
Last week, you floated a baseless conspiracy theory that the coronavirus was bioengineered to target Caucasians and black people, but to spare Ashkenazi Jews and Chinese people. Mr. Kennedy, your bizarre, unproven claim echoes that same historic slander of labeling Jews and Chinese people as a race, and that Jews, and in this case Chinese people, somehow managed to avoid a deadly illness that targets other groups for death. You do see that, yes or no?
You're misstating.
No.
COVID-19 is targeted to attack Caucasians and black people. The people who are most immune are Ashkenazi Jews and Chinese.
Be a part of the entertainment value of a lifetime.
I loved it.
It was the best performance I've seen in a lifetime.
I loved the show. I liked it very much. He's a very entertaining man. It's well worth the money.
Now appearing in Charlottetown, coming to Halifax November 6th to the 18th, and St. John November 20th through the 26th.
Welcome back, everybody. Okay, well, this story comes from Germany. It's an interesting story, I think. Kind of shows an attitude of what's going on in society in that country. It's from The Insider, written by Philip Demont. and it's entitled "German ATMs Keep Getting Bombed as a Crime Wave Explodes in the Country's Preference for Cash." The German preference for physical currency may be costing the country dearly, as Europe's largest economy has seen an explosion in crime that features ATM bombings, the Financial Times reported. While Germans have long favored buying things with cash instead of cards or other form of electronic payments, organized criminals have exploited this habit in the last few years. Last year, 496 ATMs were blown apart as part of cash grab heists, a 27% increase from 2021. The Federal Criminal Police Office told the FT. On average, such raids could yield 100,000 euros, equivalent to 110,686.5 euros, I guess, or dollars. That translated to 30 million euros that were stolen via ATM bombings last year, up 53% from the year before. More than half of Germans prefer physical banknotes over cards or digital tender, meaning that the country has over 55,000 ATMs filled with high-denomination euros. For the culprits, it's a unique target, as other European states undergo a decline of cash machines. Though no one has been seriously injured or killed during these bombings, they are not risk-free ventures, FT wrote. Often, the culprits themselves get hurt in the explosion, while their car ride away is characterized by high speeds and the risk of fiery collisions. It's a danger made worse by fuel canisters the robbers carry for refueling, which also discourages officers from shooting at the vehicle. The German response has been largely fragmented. Efforts to implement effective ATM and law enforcement standards are diluted by the fact that Germany has over 1,500 lenders, while each province leads its own policing task force. And while countries such as the Netherlands have implemented protection systems that glue cash together in the case of a raid, this hasn't been carried out in Germany over health and safety considerations. Meanwhile, attempts to fortify ATMs against earlier types of detonations were thwarted when the criminals switched to different explosives, according to the FT, which probably means they get an insider information on that. Still, some success has occurred with police groups in one province learning to analyze potential escape routes as a way to prepare, and prosecutors of those captured are also starting to add attempted murder charges as the explosions put nearby residents in danger. And I guess, yeah, that's it. So, people over there prefer cash. I prefer cash, to be honest, when I pay for things. Funny thing is, when I was reading this article here, I have an aunt who, and her husband who went on a vacation in, I don't care, somewhere downstate, I guess. And they checked into a hotel and they went to pay for their rooms in cash, and the guy told them, no, we don't take cash. And they looked at each other. I mean, these relatives are in their in their 60s, okay, so bear with me on that. Being told that they don't take cash to them is like saying, we don't eat. We never have to eat. We get along without eating. Okay. Since when does a business not accept cash? I mean, are they even interested in making profit or what? What the hell is good about that? And what I think what it is that they don't like to have cash laying around because they probably got robbed or something like that. And if they didn't know that there was cash to be stolen, they never would have had it there in the first place. So their solution is to not accept it and just do everything electronically. Credit cards, debit cards, checks maybe, I don't know. But the thing is they won't take cash. And another little funny thing is I had gone to the grocery store. I'm not going to name the one. A young employee there, probably like in her 18 or 19 years old, rung me out, and I went to pay for my groceries in cash. I handed her cash, and she was, she seemed to be trying to have, trying to figure out what the hell to do with the cash. And I'm thinking, well, Jesus, come on, it's cash, give me the change, and the bagger had to go over there and, fix the, show what to do and then get the cash through. And the reason being, and she told me that I was the first person that she had for a customer that paid in cash. Everybody else pays with a card. They just swipe it, and all they do is print out a receipt and you go, okay? Never have to open up the drawer for the change or anything like that, but it's there, right? But apparently, if you're new at the job and you never had cash given to you before, you don't know how to punch that in for the drawer to open so you can give the change, and then at the same time, she's sitting there trying to count that out, but the machine should be telling her, it tells her what to give back in change, but I don't know. I just couldn't understand what the hell was keeping her from getting me out of the damn store, It's not like I was standing there for a long time. It just seemed like 5 minutes, and her at the register not coming up with the change seemed odd, because I'm used to having people take the cash, open the drawer, give them the change, yep, have a good day. It's usually done within a minute. So I'm at the point saying, like, look, if this country is moving towards having things done electronically, okay, where in Germany people wanted things to go back to cash and not electronic, maybe because they don't like the idea of hackers out there being able to get into bank accounts and stealing your money that way. I don't know. They didn't really say here why people over there are so obsessed with having cash over credit cards or whatnot, but I have my own reasons why I would think they would want that. Okay, maybe because people don't want to be ripped off by the banks over there. I don't know. Okay, because they do charge high interest rates on these fucking cards, except for debit cards, of course. But they do have, I think there's fees with debit cards, so I don't know. Anyway, back to my point. What I was saying is about here in the United States, everything seems to be moving in the direction of having cards on you at all times. Okay, card for this, a card for that, and the cash really is kind of dwindling away into the age of the dinosaur. Okay, and I'm saying, if that's what banks want people to do, to carry a card around, I mean, if you go look at a wallet at a store, to buy a wallet for a guy, you're not going to see a whole lot of room in there for cash. It's all slots to put credit cards in, okay? So already society is trying to tell us, stop using cash. Get a debit card or a credit card and pay for your things that way. Okay. That's not so easy for somebody like me. Especially after going through those years where people's accounts were being hacked, like whole banks were being attacked and all their accounts were reviewed. Remember when that was going on? I don't know if this generation here actually remembered that, but I do remember where we were, during the 90s, I think it was, in the early 2000s, where bank accounts were just being hacked into in this country almost on a monthly basis. I mean, I remember the big one at Target, where everybody's Target cards were the numbers were all revealed somehow. Or when you go eat out at a restaurant, somebody take your card and swipe it through something where all the information is copied, and then they'd take that and run that to the max. That stuff was going on. So we have those memories of how people were finding ways to steal even off your cards. So we don't completely trust the cards. I don't completely trust the cards. Okay, even though they got that little chip on there now that a lot of cards have. Okay. That's still no guarantee that that's going to protect. There's always some asshole that's going to be out there that'll find a way to beat that, okay? And as frustrating as that is, I seem to think that maybe we should just go back to the cash like Germany is, because that's old school. Everybody's is all in the future here with this, but if you go old school, that counters future. You know what I'm saying? Then they'd have to physically go and steal money from people, which is a harder thing to get away with today because you got cameras all over the goddamn place. I mean, look at the riot in D.C. there, January the 6th. I mean, they've been nailing people right and left. I mean, they got 28 people right here in the state of Maine that were involved in that fucking thing. Every one of them arrested, picked up, you know. You can't get away with stuff like that out in the open, okay? Especially if you're dumb enough to put it on YouTube or something like that and brag about what you did. I mean, you're just basically saying, come and get me, you know. But, you know, electronics and stuff like that, the only way you can fight that is with old school technology, which is basically, you know, analog, or doing things, you know, with cash and things like that, because it doesn't require electronics to process, you know, these things. I mean, how are you going to steal, you know, the money electronically if it's physical, if it's something that people are holding on to? You can't, unless you go over there and beat the fucker to the ground and take his wallet. But, you know, your chances of getting away with that are going to be pretty bad. You know, those kind of cops and robbers days are over, you know. You know, as far as I know. I mean, every day on the friggin' news, you got people going into a 7-Eleven or some fucking store trying to rob them, and it's all on camera. And within a few days, they got the guy. You know, if it takes that long. And these people, they just, I don't know, they're dumb enough to keep doing it. You know. So anyway, I when I read that, you know, it just got me thinking about a lot of different things, and about, you know, how, you know, ATMs and stuff. I mean, when I got a credit card a long time back, it was a Discover card, and it had a PIN number on it, so I could take cash out of it. It was okay for a while, but then I started to find out that they were charging me, you know, for every time I do that. And I'm thinking, well, why do they give you a card, right? Because you're a member of Discover card, right? Why would they need to add a fee onto that if you're already a member? They're getting interest from you when you use the card. So why the extra fee to take money off your own card? You know, isn't that covered under the fucking, you know, interest? I mean, Jesus, you know. And then I found out I wasn't the only one thinking that way. A lot of people were thinking that way, and all of a sudden, you know, the idea of going to an ATM to get your money started to get less and less attractive to people, so they wouldn't do it. People still do it, though. I'm not sure if they're really aware how much they're losing every time they pull money off that card. I don't know, but so, you know, I see people all the time, you know, pulling up to an ATM machine and getting money off their card or debit card or whatever the hell the card it is they're using. But I just don't think that's really a good thing to do anymore these days. I mean, if there's cash that you're going to need, then just don't put all that extra on the card. Just put only what you want to put on the card, and keep some cash on yourself. I mean, you know, you never know. Sometimes your credit card or whatever card you're using may not go through the machine because it might be old. The little black thing on that might be worn out. You know, there could be any number of reasons why your card won't go through. I mean, I've seen that happen in the stores too. Unfortunately, it happens with people that are old and they don't really understand the concept of why the card doesn't work. Okay? And so they feel like they're being scammed or some damn thing, okay? But they don't really understand it. But, you know, the thing is like I said, you know, you should always have some cash on hand in your wallet, okay, just in case. You know, like if you go eat out, have some cash on you just in case, you know, the credit card doesn't work or something goes wrong with the transaction, okay? It can happen. It can happen even with the registers. I mean, sometimes the registers might be faulty and they don't work to take the card information, okay? That's happened to me a couple of times at Walgreens. You know, the machine just doesn't seem to want to read the card to go to another register that works over there. You know, sometimes, you know, things like that happen. So you should always have the cash on hand. You can always get that cash off your card later, you know, after you do the transaction or something like that. But like I said, cash can't really be tossed aside unless we have 100% reliability on the cards that we're using, and that we have 100% likability of having those cards at all. And right now, a lot of people don't like the idea of these high interest rate cards and these fucking, you know, fees and stuff they put on it. So we don't have 100% likability to these cards, and we don't have 100% trust in these things working and being safe for us to use. So until it changes, cash should still be around, okay? And I think in Germany, I think those people came to that realization over there pretty fucking quick, you know, because they're way ahead of us on that, you know, ahead of the curb, as they say, on saying, you know, enough with this damn electronic shit. Give us our goddamn money, okay, and that's it. You know, we're tired of it. And, you know, maybe, you know, like I said, because people like that, you know, cash instead, you know, maybe that's the reason why. I don't know. They didn't really say too much about why people over there don't like the ATMs or anything like that anymore. It could be the very idea that, you know, these ATMs have money in those things and they're just smashing those things open just to get the cash out of it, which only reinforces the idea that that's what they'd rather have than card information or something like that. You know, because banks can control that, you know, shutting the card down if you're quick enough to report it missing or something, you know, or report that someone's been using it to buy stuff you didn't buy. About a month ago, I found a credit card laying in the parking lot at Burger King when I went to throw the bag away, and I came back and saw it sitting there. I was like, Jesus Christ. So I picked it up and I brought it to the police and said, look, somebody's losing their credit card here. Call them up and tell them to come get it, you know. So, you know, it's easy for people to, you know, do stuff with things like that if they're savvy with computers and shit, you know. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope everybody has a great rest of the week. Stay cool. I know that's a hard thing, especially those of you down in the deep south. Holy Christ, you know, out in like in Arizona and Nevada, the heat down there was 120 fucking degrees in Death Valley. No wonder they call it Death Valley. Christ. You don't even need to have an oven if you live in Death Valley. Christ, just put the shit outside and let it cook under the, you know, it's crazy. But this is the reality that we live in. And next year the heat will be even more intense as we go forward, okay? Some of you people, as soon as the weather cools, you might be, you know, wanting to find a new place to live if you can afford it, you know, to get out of that heat could save your own life. You know, move closer to where there's trees and stuff like that, you know, the weather's usually going to be cooler there. But get out of the deserts and stuff. I mean, those places over time are just going to be dead zones in this country. I mean, if they ain't already. I mean, there's nothing that could live in that kind of heat. So, yeah, I think consider doing something like that, you know, and maybe push, you know, your towns or your mayors or somebody, you know, maybe the governor, for Christ's sake, to see if they can do something with assisting people to relocate to someplace safer to live in where the heat isn't so bad. You know, I don't know. Maybe there's a way we can convince them that, you know, some financial aid for people who can't afford to leave it, you know, to save their life, to be able to move someplace that's cooler. You know. Anyway, it's just something to think about. And, you know, keep your ears open for COVID. You know, that bug's still around, even though a lot of people are saying the pandemic's over. Nothing is ever really over when it comes to viruses. They're always out there, you know, like the flu virus is always going to be with us. But just keep your eyes open and ears. And treat each other nice. I know it's hard to when it's hot. It's hard to when you have bad luck days like I've had today. It's better just to stay away from people if you're having a bad day like I did today. But, you know, try, you know, don't get online and threaten people like some jackasses are doing here because some girl was smart enough to figure out that, you know, things weren't being honest, okay? She did the right thing, okay? And people have a right to know and ask questions. If we don't ask questions, then what the hell good is, you know, learning anything, right? You know, there's no stupid question out there to be asked, okay? Everything is to gain knowledge, and knowledge should be free to all, okay? So, take care, everybody, and I'll talk to you later.